Habit is key. Habit is the most important factor when you want to get something. Let's explore what this means. First of all, let's talk about what is a habit. A habit is an action that you repeat in a routine manner over time. Initially, a habit is difficult. It's like ascending a mountain or a hill. It's difficult for you to do it, but this is where you need to stick to it and repeat it. When you repeat it enough number of times, then a new habit is formed. So in other words, a habit is an action that is repeated in a routine manner, and once you repeat it in a routine manner enough number of times, eventually it becomes automatic. It happens by default. This means that you don't think about it, which makes it an action that is subconscious, and it becomes easy and fast. There you go, that's a habit. And often a question asked is, how long does it take to form a habit? And my answer to that question is wrong question. The right question we should ask is, how many number of repetitions that should occur before an action actually transforms into a habit? And research shows this can be between 50 to 100 times, meaning if you repeat an action in a routine manner for 50 to 100 times, you will eventually be forming a habit, right? So this habit could be good or could be bad. That's another matter altogether. But if you do something repeatedly in a routine manner for about 50 to 100 times, then it becomes a habit. It's not so much a matter of time. We can't say it takes 30 days to form a habit, or it takes 6 months to form a habit. No, the key here is how many times you repeat the action in a routine manner, right? Now, let's just recap where the habit comes in when we talk about getting what you want, right? So in previous videos, I have talked to you about law of attraction, how you the first step that you need to do is to know what you want, and then you set goals. After you set goals, which are actually process goals or action goals, then you create an implementation plan, and after you create an implementation plan on how to carry out these actions in a routine manner, then you focus on mindset, and from your mindset, from a place of changed mindset, you carry out your implementation plan. In other words, you execute the actions that you had identified in the goals, and then you look forward to achieving your goal. So this we had learned. So where does forming habits come in? Forming habits actually comes in carrying out the actions. So this is where habits come in. So we need to carry out the actions in a routine manner, repeat it, stick to it regardless of how difficult it is, muster your discipline, muster your motivation, whatever you need to do, repeat it enough number of times until that action becomes a habit. So this is where habits come in. Habits is actually part of the implementation of the action goals that you have outlined in writing, right? So when it comes to mindset, okay, after you have done all of that, right, so you start with the mindset, meaning you start by knowing what you want. in other words, knowing your outcome. Then you move on to formulating your mindset goals and action goals, and then you come up with an implementation plan. Now, before you go into acting on your action goals in accordance with your written implementation plan, you start with your mindset. So you're going from outcome to goal setting, the 3 different types of goals, and then you go to coming up with an implementation plan, and then you go to taking action. So the first part in this is changing mindset. So you go to mindset, and then from mindset you work back again. So you start with changing your mindset. After you have changed your mindset, which involves removing mindsets or beliefs that are limiting you and replacing them with more empowering beliefs, then you have your implementation plan to carry out your actions in a routine manner. You execute those, and you remember to execute it in a routine manner. I keep saying execute something in a routine manner. What this means is actually you have to do it at a fixed time and location, yeah, or you can even bundle it together with other routine actions, meaning you can say every morning I will walk for an hour. I will walk a distance of 6 kilometers for an hour, and I will do this immediately after having my morning coffee. Right? So you link it up with other routine actions that come naturally and are easy for you. Or better still, you can even make sure that an action that's difficult to make is bundled on top of another action that you like, but you don't give yourself that action. Like, for example, I love to drink milk tea. So I don't allow myself to have that milk tea in the morning until I've gone for my early morning 6 kilometer walk. So you make the tea, the milk tea, a reward for carrying out the action in a routine manner. So every morning from 7:30 to 8:30, I will walk for an hour, a distance of 6 kilometers, and then I come home and I get to have my garam chai, my hot milk tea. Yeah, Sudana or a cup tea. That's what we say in Tamil, my mother tongue. Okay, right now. After we have done this, carrying out our action, what happens? Guess what? Ta-da! We achieve our outcome. Doesn't that sound simple? Yes, it is, but carrying it out is not so simple. And once you've achieved the outcome, it is very, very important not to let the new habit that you have formed, yes, surely by the time you achieve the outcome, this routine action would have developed into a habit. It is important not to let this habit slip. Let me give you a metaphor. If we were to look at doing up your garden, let's say the garden at the side of your entrance gate, you do it up to look beautiful like this. I love flowers and I love gardening, and I love the area in front of my front gate, meaning the 2 areas at the side of my front gate to look like that. But the thing is, this is something that you don't do once and then it remains like that, right? This is the outcome. So you have to have the discipline to sustain the action. In this case, you have to continue to habitually weed and fertilize and water and prune these plants, and when perennials die, you replace them. So there must be continuous habitual routine action to sustain this outcome. So whatever outcome that you achieve becomes system, right? It becomes a part of your system, a part of who you are. So it becomes a part of how my front garden looks, right? So sustainability of the newly acquired habit is key to continue to enjoy the outcome that you had sought and attained, right? And finally, well, not quite finally, I would like to share with you why I say habit is key, okay? Now, this does not mean that the other components like knowing your goal or outcome and then setting goals in the 3 dimensions, outcome goals, process goals and mindset goals, and then altering mindsets, and then creating an implementation plan. Yeah, this does not mean those things are not important. When I say habit is key, habit is that vital factor. Okay, so let me explain further. When we are talking about going after what we want, yeah, let's say we set a goal, we want something. When we talk about going after something that we want, okay, essentially there are 5 factors involved in it, right? First is knowing your outcome, and then setting goals, and then creating an implementation plan, and acting repeatedly in a routine manner until habit is formed, right? So there are these 5 factors. Now, out of the 5 factors, habit, the last factor, works according to the Pareto Rule, the 80-20 rule. Now, what is the Pareto Rule? Okay, the Pareto Rule was something discovered by an Italian economist in the 19th century, who discovered that in Italy at that time, 80% of all properties were owned by 20% of people. Then he did other studies in other fields and discovered that this was a recurring pattern. A vital factor usually influenced a vital factor that was a small part of doing something influenced a large part of the outcome. That means in this case, habit is one factor. So if we were to equally distribute weightage across all the 5 factors that or the 5 actions that you need to carry out in order to attain a goal, then habit is only one factor, so it will carry about 20%, right? But it is a vital factor because this 20% action, this action that carries 20% of the weightage in terms of what you do in order to achieve your goal, creates 80% of your result, right? This is what it means. The other things are also important. In fact, this vital factor is known to create most of the result as far as achieving outcomes is concerned for many people's life, such that even when people don't have goals, if they just have very good habits, they actually achieve quite a lot in their lives. We will talk more about this in future videos. And finally, as a parting word, let me leave you with this thought: develop good habits one after another. Over time, good habits compound into great outcomes. This is something I discovered in my own life when I was raising my own children. We will talk more about this relative to raising excellent children and physical health, my 2 favorite topics. Yeah, so if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe. There are more videos coming. Any questions, just type in the comment section. I will address directly, or I will record another video to address